Your wish is my command, so here I am at your service. Good night to one and all. Let us begin tonight's program. Today is January the 16th, 2019. Let us begin by reading from the Holy Book. And it reads, we read from Matthew 23, verse 4 and 5. And folks, this very scripture can also be found at Luke 46 and 47. So, practice and observe everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. In other words, do whatever they say to do, but do not follow after their work, for they say and do not. They tie up heavy, burdensome loads and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. All their deeds are done for men to see. And folks, that scripture reading is saying, in other words, and at Luke, is that men, instead of giving you God's law, they package their rules in bundles and load you down like animals. They seem to take pleasure in watching you stagger under those loads and wouldn't think of lifting a finger to help. You see the part with lifting a finger to help, you will understand. Their lives are perpetual fashion shows. Many of them love to sit at the head table of leaders. That is what we have going on in the country. But remember that scripture reading. Whatsoever they say to do, do, but do not follow after they walk, for they say and do not. Folks, we could go back. We could go back to the court ruling. The damning court ruling against the Public Service Commission. But no, maybe on Friday we could do that. But tonight, folks, we too will be having our say. Because, as Culture said in his song, we cannot be silent and allow pursuits to mislead you and have you in ignorance. And sometimes on occasions when you hear pursuits speak, you wonder if it is Vincentians they are speaking to or foreigners. And you will understand why. But folks, tonight, we will be looking at telephone, national security, and confidentiality. we have to expose the hypocrisy. We have to expose the hypocrisy. After calling nurses, doctors, public sector workers thieves, and how they are ineffective and inefficient, you want to turn around now and blame the public sector workers and their leaders. Well, their leaders this time. No, folks. Let us get this thing into perspectives. Trade unions were invited to a meeting last Friday or 2. That was after they were disrespected on several occasions by not even receiving acknowledgement of correspondences which they sent to the illegitimate fella we have here. So now, they planned a protest, and word got out somehow or the other. And so they were called to a meeting. And to me, it was a take it or leave it meeting. Take it or leave it meeting. Because I never heard negotiations for 1%, 1.5%, and 2% finish completed in 2 hours. Never. Historical indeed. Never. Never happened before. So, 4 trade unions were invited, along with the Police Welfare Association, because they're not a union. And they were told that they have to surrender their telephones to the security. This is a matter that you can deal with from 2 angles. But follow me. You follow me. So they were told to surrender their telephones to the police, and they say it's a policy. It's on the door. Below are something they call Vision Now. You know that telephone passwords or even password for your tablet, your iPad, or whatever could be cracked. You're going to leave your phone? I was going to leave my phone with none of Fordy Sam, Master Willie, policemen. Never. So, the union reps decided that they weren't going to leave their mobile phones with the police. And because of that, they were told that they won't be able to enter. Anyhow, Buns Bonady, who I don't know who is representing, because the last time I checked, he wasn't elected as the president of the union, the CTAW. He wasn't elected as the president of the union. There was a lady who works at GECU who they say was elected as the president. Burns had the research institute, the Phantom Research Institute, Workers Institute, that no one knows where that is located and how many research projects that Burns conducted. And the other one, who is General Secretary for Life. When I hear them used to be speaking about Keith Joseph and the Sports Council, they ever tell you that the NWM is Noel Jackson's own personal union? President for Life, better than Joshua. So there, what the meeting? And in that very meeting, if you look at the photographs that were posted on Facebook, you will see Paul Susan in that meeting with telephone. Fella we have here say how when he go to security overseas, he does have to hand over his phone, I don't know where. At the airport, because I heard Paul so speaking about airport and this and that. No, folks. The airport, just like how you put down your belt, your laptop, your whatever, your shoe, in a tray, you put your phone there. People don't have access to your phone. You put it there. When you go through the scanner, then you get back your phone. When you go on the aircraft, they will tell you when it is safe. They want to speak about national security. They will tell you when it is safe to turn on your mobile device because it could interfere with the telecommunication, because the pilot have to be communicating with air traffic controllers. I don't know who the interferences will affect up there on the 4th floor. And just like when you go to X-ray, going for a CT scan, they just tell you to turn off your phone because it could affect the machine and its reading. In the radiology department. But national security. So they say it's a national security issue. We get a little bit too confidentiality just now. So they say is national security. Okay. Cell phones in this day and age. This is a matter that could be looked at from two sides, because I told you I wasn't going to leave my cell phone with none of 40 Sam, Master Willie, police officers, not me. Yes, we're ready. And passwords could be cracked. So while you're in there, you don't know what will be happening to your phone out here. But hear what? I would have left my telephone in the vehicle. Yes. Or even at home. If you ask fraudster, what device did John Andrews take to that meeting with the police officers? He will tell you it was a telephone. It was a cell phone. Joan left her telephone at home. If possible, I should have walked with 2 false phones and hand it over to them. Next time I'll go into any meeting, consult me. Mr. President of the Public Service Union, Madam President of the Teachers Union, and the President of the Police Welfare Association. Next time you're going to a meeting with this fellow here, consult with me. They want phone, give them a phone. Let them hold that. Because the policy should be turn off all cell phones. The Speaker of the House, Hendricks Alexander, had implemented a policy to say, turn off all cell phones. When I reach downstairs by the steps, before I go upstairs, I turn off the phone. When the police officers ask me if the phone's off, all phone off. I have nothing in my hand. No cell phone. Because the phone off. But when you look over yonder, you know, Luke Brown have his phone. ULP parcels in the audience have the phone. Plainclothes police officers have their phones. Only NDP supporters not allowed to have their phones in Parliament. But as for me, remember, I usually said to you at the end of this of the Night Nurse program, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of love, of power, and of a sound mind. A sound mind. So the sound mind says, leave your telephone in your vehicle, or even anywhere. Downstairs, but not with the police. Put that sound mind into gear. Leave your phone in your vehicle. So when recordings of the meeting are played back, none could blame you. None. They search your bag. They search your pocket. No cell phone. Rules are rules. And the fellow we have here said that rules should be consistent. Rules should be consistent. Yes, should be consistent. You remember when they had that issue with cell phone at the girls' high school? You remember that? There was a rule. The girls' high school have a rule. And they say that the rule is written, and speaking rules, the girls' high school have a rule in its, what do you call the book? Let me just read. Go to this thing. The Girls High School Student Book, rule number 11, says that telephone calls to school, cell phones are permitted on the school's compound. School rules. Fellow we have here said he didn't know about the rule, but his daughter was going to the school. Rule number 14, you know, said no cell phone. Well, he said he was concerned about his daughter getting 0. He was more concerned about the rule. Noting his training in law, Fordisam said that the girl high school rules can only be valid if they are reasonable. If they are reasonable, because you could have parcels in the meeting to know they are taping. If they are using their cell phone, but with the way these mobile devices, they have calendar, calculator, and all of that. So we're speaking here now about being reasonable. The girls' high school rule, he said, could only be valid if they are transparent, sanctioned, and consistently applied. So if the rule was that no cell phone is allowed, how come they say it's okay for journalists to have cell phone inside? I don't get it. And then he now, like a headless chicken going around from station to station, program to program. He was even on WFM this morning with Daniel, you understand? And he talking all sorts of things. What was he planning to tell the union leaders? That he didn't say on radio. Because on radio he said that the president of the PSU is a bad walker. They charge the president of the Police Welfare Association with mutinous conduct. So you're going to sit down now with the same man the charge with mutinous conduct. And you know, in all that, you know, they forgot how the recording of the mutinous, or maybe that he's afraid to. Maybe he's afraid of that. The mutinous conduct thing came out of recordings in a private group that was shared. So, the GHS rule should be reasonable, transparent, sanctioned, and consistently applied. Now we're talking about rules. Now we are speaking rules. Blazer Williams. Blazer Williams. Adolphus Isaacs. A man of God. Anel Thomas. Well, you know who Anel is, right? Ask Julian who is Anel Thomas. He will tell you. Gwyneth Ford, Stephen Williams. Well, I don't even want to call Miss Ford name because they say she's a very decent woman. But folks, listen. They broke the public service rules. As Henry said so. Break every single one of them. So we're talking rules. We'll get back to that Friday. The rules should be consistent. Applied across the board. Not so with these. So, they are chastising the union leaders. Chastising them. Everybody had all sorts of things to say about the presidents of the unions. They say they don't have the interests of their members at heart. How they are disrespectful. Well, Hans King said there will be consequences. The action, to me that sounds threatening. And yes, they are elected not by counterfeit ballots as in the general elections. No. Elected free and fair. Those members, those presidents. I remember, you know, they went after Lukaku the football. I remember what happened? Installed a guy from the ULP, and I don't know how Delves could still be in the ULP. You know, right now, Delves, you have to say ban for life. ban for life. So actions have consequences, yes. So set up your members, as was done with the Bar Association as well, and now they can't even get a quorum to remove Rennie as president of the Bar Association. Yes, actions have consequences, we know that. Some even said that the unions doesn't have the number to hold an effective protest. You see all kind of things, you know. You know something, let me just tell Mr. Badman this. Yes, they don't have the numbers. For whatever reason. For example, the Public Service Union, for its entire life, however old it is, never had 50+1 members to enable them to have a collective agreement with the government. And it doesn't have anything to do with voucher or whatever. They never had. So when I speak numbers, you have to take that into consideration. They never had the numbers. And the protest that they're boasting about that was so effective in 2000, parcels like Lansford Weeks were only ridden as donkeys. They were only used because fraudster will tell you that the fellow we have here told him that he used to be calling them for the morning. It wasn't them. Wasn't Fitzjohn's them? No. So what numbers you're speaking about? The teachers' union will hold their solidarity march in November in remembrance of the tear gas. How many teachers just go out to that? You could count them sometimes on one hand. So when they foolishly follow the crowd and speak numbers, remember that. November just gone. How many were there? For sure, you didn't see 1,700. November will come again and the same thing. So when they foolishly, like Delilah, join the crowd and say, oh, they don't have the numbers. They never really had the numbers, you know. If they didn't block the road in Arnosville, remove grill, cut down tree, throw load the sand, it won't be effective. Oh, they must stop this nonsense in this country. And then I hear the bad man asking a damn foolish question about where the money will come from. To pay the 1%, it has been chastising Eustace. Where the money will come from? The money will come from the same place where they get the 1 million in the crocus bag to take to the National Commercial Bank. It will come from there. Or it will come from Gaddafi in Libya. The same place where Eloise, Julian, Sian, and everybody in the ULP got money to go change by National Commercial Bank in 2009. The money to pay more than the 1% will come from there. If not, Mr. Badman, the money will come from the same place where the airport money came from. How about where the money going to come from for the port? Last week at the press conference when the man launched the ULP manifesto, you heard about money for roads, money for this, money for that. Money gonna come from Petro-Caribe, boy. So when you're foolishly asking where the money gonna come from, remember, the Bible says avoid foolish questions. And they're speaking about numbers. Since they're speaking about numbers and about fear, on several occasions I've said to you that the fellow we have here, Master Willie, now walking with a cane. All who's sick and all who this. What happened to he? Walking with a cane. On several occasions, he said, the mouth is muzzled by the food it eats to live. So you know what he did to a lot of apostles here? Muzzle them. Put food in their mouth. Whether it is low-income house, scholarship, wherever, to dumb them, silence them. The mouth is muzzled. Muzzled, Bonds, and Noel. Muzzle them. Understand why a lot of public sector workers can't talk and won't talk. Hans King even went as far as, let me see if I could play this one for you. Let me see if I could play something here for you, right? Just bear with me. You want to hear the foolishness that they're talking.
What you have is a bunch of political activists heading the trade unions.
Yes.
Those 3 trade unions in this country at this time.
5.
Persons who are not interested in the cause of their members, but have a personal political agenda.
Fox, you heard that, right? Let me play it again.
What you have is a bunch of political activists heading the trade unions. Those 3 trade unions in this country at this time. Persons who are not interested in the cause of their members, but have a personal political agenda.
Right. You hear that, right? You heard that? Wendy never run for political office in this country. Boucher never run. Smith never run. Noel Jackson run for office in this country and he lose. Same with Bonds Bonady. So we're talking about personal political agenda. What is he really speaking about? You always hear Noel Jackson and Star FM. And it's the same thing too with Bonds. Same thing. Let me see if this clipper is a clip I'm looking for. Wait a while.
Going to fail miserably.
No.
Because they cannot stop.
Another one there. Not that one. I'm looking for one. There is a clip of a man saying that Master Willie told him that if Noel Jackson only steps out of line, you set hands, Matadiel, and Ballers on him. And the only how you could do something like that if you send lawyers after people and send police, it have to be for something criminal. So Noel can't object, and neither could Bonds. But they are the political activists. Noel and Bonds are the real political activists. So I don't know what Hans speaking about. I don't know if Hans' brain is affected by faces. I don't know. I don't know. But folks, let me ask a question before I touch briefly on confidentiality, right? Let me ask a question. The workers who the CTAW and the NWM representing, they're going to get the 1% too? Or the 1.5%? I don't get it. How they could negotiate salaries with those two trade unions? How? Hello? Watch now, man. I just put on back the phone here and me close it off again. I just open the lines and now you want to play the fool? Folks, the other issue is that they are speaking about confidentiality. So it was a matter of national security, and the other one is confidentiality. Confidentiality. A letter was written to the executive of the ULP a few years ago. And the letter was entitled, well, big caption up there. Big caption up there, confidential. But you know it was leaked to the public? Confidential letter. They're speaking confidentiality? What the hell they know about that? Michelle Andrews' lab results was read on radio. Michelle Andrews' lab works read on radio. Folks, you believe that? And these bastards come speaking about confidentiality. Just yesterday, they're on radio reading about your salary. And they have no shame. Because if you know Boucher ain't a good worker, how come you getting so much money? No shame all they have. None. So they're speaking about confidentiality. Watch you know.
Good afternoon. The interesting part is that Frankie Silva is saying to the public here that you cannot read the woman's medical document.
Yes. No.
Okay. So the lawyers, the tapes that is available, the lawyers have not played on the radio or the television. Therefore, it is not available to the public.
How did they come in the hands of Frankie Silva?
Well, that is the question I'm asking. If the lawyers is not playing it on the radio and the television, the lawyer haven't passed it on to the police, where Mr. De Silva get the tape from?
Where they get Boucher's salary slip from to go on radio? Where they get Michelle Andrews' lab works from? But I speak in confidentiality. People medicals are confidential.
Well, the public asking those questions.
And from my recollection, the law slack. Because the commissioner of police should have done send a policeman and arrest Mr. De Silva and let them know we get these tapes, play them, see what is in them. Also, Mr. Frederick should be arrested for questioning and to tell the public and to tell the law what kind of information you get from the police and who police gives you the information. All these things need to be done, and maybe if you can't just move and do it, something you to put in Parliament and the books, so that when we have these allegations again, you could pick up people for questioning, because as far as I am concerned, you have too much of people out there saying some things that is not supposed to, that should not have been said really. I mean, you have this kind of mad situation. Mr. De Silva is telling you last night, I understand he was on radio playing tapes.
He was playing tapes on radio.
I mean, well, how you get
How
it?
he got the tapes?
You is not a lawyer.
If it is not politically motivated, why were they handed over to Frank De Silva?
Exactly.
Everyone knows he hates the Prime Minister. Everyone knows he is anti the ULP.
Definitely.
What
And
was his
this is why-
role in the entire episode? This was the man who broke the news that a hero
I
will
was
emerge in 2 weeks' time.
I was listening.
And so forth.
And for the matter, this is why people like we out here could sit down and say, though we may be wrong, he could be the wealthy man who provided the tape for them to go into the place.
All right then.
I mean, that's the man who does the taping.
Nice.
What you doing with it? And they didn't want to divulge this man as to his source of where he gets his tape from.
All right then, folks. You all right? Tapes coming.
People must take a book or two from me.
Yeah.
If you're going to deal with Ralph Gonsalves, I think I told you this before, if you can't take a tape, take a witness. Do not speak to Ralph Gonsalves by yourself. NDP people, I got some tapes home I wouldn't play from Ralph. You don't talk to him. Because anything you say,
unless it's
don't even say that, because you see, he might say, if he says something and you say he might say agreed with him.
Yes.
You simply do not do it. Don't do it, because trust me, sooner, not even later, sooner rather than later, he's going to come out and try to put a wedge and put a doubt in people's mind as to your loyalty to the party. Don't do it.
You know, what you're saying is good advice.
Don't talk to him.
It's good advice.
Stay away from him.
Yeah.
And if you got to talk to Ralph, it must be in a crowd, or do like me, tape him.
All right, you hear that? So the trade unions now took his advice. Tapes.
I say, Frank.
I love tapes. You don't think you could cuss and defend those tomorrow. Defend them.
I say, Frank, you're talking to me. Don't tape my conversation. You see how I could be talking to you and tape your conversation? He has gone, he not only taped my conversation, he played it back on radio, except to say he edited it, pieced it together to make the conversation look bad from my standpoint. What he has done is a criminal offense.
All right.
I am waiting on all of them.
People must take a book or two from me.
Yeah.
If you're going to deal with Ralph Gonsalves, I think I told you this before, if you can't take a tape, take a witness. Do not speak to Ralph Gonsalves by yourself. NDP people, I got some tapes home I wouldn't play from Ralph. You don't talk to him. Because anything you say,
unless it's
don't even say that, because you see, he might say, if he says something and you say he might say agreed with him.
Yes.
You simply do not do it. Don't do it, because trust me, sooner, not even later, sooner rather than later, he's going to come out and try to put a wedge and put a doubt in people's mind as to your loyalty to the party. Don't do it.
You know, what you're saying is good advice.
Don't talk to him.
It's good advice.
Stay away from him.
Yeah.
And if you got to talk to Ralph, it must be in a crowd, or do like me, tape him.
I say, Frank, you're talking to me. Don't tape my conversation. You see how I could be talking to you and tape your conversation? He has gone, he not only taped my conversation, he played it back on radio, except to say he edited it, pieced it together to make the conversation look bad from my standpoint.
Oh my God.
What he has done is a criminal offense. I am waiting on all of them.
Nice, nice. So folks, you heard that, right? You heard that? You want more? You want more?
The issue of the recording
Yes.
is illegal, it's immoral, it's unethical, and that one of and let us be quite clear that one of the members of the special service unit is a principal of a primary school in St. Vincent and Grenadines.
What did you say there?
I am saying that one of the members, right, is a principal of one of the primary school.
One of the members of the
special service unit.
Hey, thanks for correcting that, Cookie.
Right?
Is a principal, you said, of a primary
Yes.
school? But how can that be possible?
Well,
yes.
He said it.
I don't know.
We'll have to.
Hey, Cookie, you don't know. Secret police was at the National Commercial Bank walking. He bragged that he put them all about. He had them up custom that the post office. If you're not very careful, secret police there right now under your bed. Secret police vending. Secret police are do barbering. Secret police doing everything right now, boy. Adolf Hitler in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You don't know what you're playing with. You don't know.
The issue of the recording is illegal, it's immoral, it's unethical, and that one of and let us be quite clear that one of the members of the special service unit is a principal of a primary school in St. Vincent and Grenadines.
What did you say there?
I am saying that one of the members, right, is a principal of one of the primary school.
One of the members of the
special service unit.
I
make no apology for this. Right?
Is a principal, you said, of a primary school?
Yes.
But how can that be possible?
You don't know, boy. You don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have to ask those authority how that's possible.
But we all know that we from our own intelligence as the executive who knew who did the recordings. Right? The point is, clearly now, the Prime Minister is trying to turn the Union into the force.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I gotta say, well, there were people saying you all shouldn't say anything. I totally disagree with them. You did the right thing. But I am here listening to the Prime Minister, and I'm telling you, I'm getting goose pimples. To hear that the Prime Minister is reporting that secret police were in the teachers' meeting and reporting to him, I
expect that.
What to say.
I expected that.
What is secret police doing in the teachers' union meeting?
They go to every private meeting, even in football elections meeting, the police presence.
Had this opening, there were a couple of them out there.
They were there.
I could even understand, but what are they doing now? And the Prime Minister has a dossier, and who said what inside of a meeting?
Yes.
Well, that's the essence of a communist state.
This is, and check this out. He's in the report. The police reports that some speakers insulting the Prime Minister by calling him a communist.
There you go. But you need to repeat what you're saying. You're indicating to the public that the Prime Minister is confessing or admitting or alerting the public that whenever there are private gatherings, to wit, in this case, the teachers' union meeting,
and reporting to him,
they were in the meeting.
Yes, sir.
So that the teachers' union don't have the privacy that they should be so entitled to.
No, sir.
Without members who are present reporting back to the Prime Minister. Now, to the extent that the Prime Minister is saying what he is and who the Prime Minister is, you have to assume that he's not a reckless person in this regard, and that the purpose for declaring to the public that the special branch are present at teachers' meeting is to intimidate
precisely
the teachers' union, to tell them, Big Brother is watching you.
Are the police also present at church services? I want to know.
And therefore it means that whenever they attempt to hold bona fide meetings, a lot of the membership
and I'm not gonna go.
Would be
did you hear that? Bad man. You hear that?
Numbers who normally will be there. There are official interventions by the state security who has it as of a right to report back to the Prime Minister? Now, the Prime Minister is not alone at fault with this. If, in fact, the Commissioner of Police is also facilitating that, he is to also be held responsible, because there ought to be no presence of state security in the meetings of the teachers union or any other private agency.
Everywhere
about their affairs.
I am telling you, this is really frightening, and
but it doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either.
Calling, in my view, this is calling for further action on the part of the teacher to protest this kind
of... now we come. Talk the talk.
It must not stand.
No.
No way.
No way.
Well, frankly, I took that for granted, that would happen.
Well, you guys got one up on me. I didn't. I am dumbfounded. No way did I expect to hear this kind of thing. No way.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. In fact, when we were having our own press conference yesterday, I looked carefully to determine who was in the meeting, but equally to see who was 100 or so yards outside of our meeting, trying to determine who had attended the press briefing, because every action that's taken in this country is reported on. And that didn't surprise me.
Right in your own house. If you're not mindful, right in your own house.
That it tells us the direction that we are going to a state-controlled society.
There's some people been telling me certain things in this country, and I've been laughing them off until I am not taking any of that stuff for granted anymore at all.
No.
At all.
You can't.
I don't know what to say.
I tell you.
It really is intimidation. The idea is to suppress people so they can't express their views, to threaten them with reprisals and consequences, as the Prime Minister himself said before he went away.
Exactly.
That's why I mentioned it yesterday, because I did not take it lightly at all. I assumed that is what would happen. But we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have to learn that in instances like this, we have to stand up for the principles on which we believe.
Boy, I know. Wait. Denniston, Douglas. You wait. Hold a while, man. Have some manners. Why you have manners, Denniston? I understand that this streaming is bad. They don't want the public to hear. That they have secret police. Actually, if you're not very mindful, the man you're dating right now or the woman you're dating right now in the house is a secret police for the Unity Labour Party. So the streaming is bad. But we're going to make up for it. We will make up for it. You will hear this and you will hear more.
The issue of the recording
yes.
is illegal, it's immoral, it's unethical, and that one of let us be quite clear that one of the members of the special service unit is a principal of a private school in St. Vincent and Grenadines.
What did you say there?
I am saying that one of the members, right?
One of the members
of one of the primary school.
One of the members of the
special service unit.
I
make no apology for this. Right?
Is a principal, you said, of a primary school?
Yes, and if you're deaf?
That be possible.
You're deaf?
Well, he said it.
I don't know.
We'll have to ask those authorities how that's possible.
But we all know that we, from our own intelligence, as the executive, who knew who did the recordings. Right? The point is, clearly now, the Prime Minister is trying to turn the union into the force.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
I gotta say, well, there were people saying you all shouldn't say anything. I totally disagree with them. You did the right thing. But I am here listening to the Prime Minister, and I'm telling you, I'm getting goose pimples. To hear that the Prime Minister is reporting that secret police were in the teachers' meeting.
Tape-in.
To him,
I expect that. I expected that.
What the secret police doing in the teachers' union meeting?
They go to every private meeting, even in football elections meeting, the police presence.
Hand is opening, there were a couple of them out there. I could even understand, but what are they doing now? And the Prime Minister has a dossier, and who said what inside of a meeting?
Well, that's the essence of a communist state.
This is, and check this out. He's in the report. The police reports that some speakers insulting the Prime Minister by calling him a communist.
No, but you need to repeat what you're saying. You're indicating to the public that the Prime Minister is confessing and or admitting or alerting the public that whenever there are private gatherings, to wit, in this case, the teachers' union meeting,
and reporting to him.
They were in the meeting.
Yes, sir.
So that the teachers' union don't have the privacy that they should be so entitled.
No, sir.
Without members who are present reporting back to the Prime Minister. Now, to the extent that the Prime Minister is saying what he is and who the Prime Minister is, you have to assume that he's not a reckless person in this regard, and that the purpose for declaring to the public that the special branch are present at teachers' meeting is to intimidate.
Precisely.
The teachers' union, to tell them, Big Brother is watching you.
Are the police also present at church services?
Everywhere.
And therefore it means that whenever they attempt to hold bona fide meetings, a lot of the membership
are now not going to go.
Would be fearful to attend for fear that apart from the informers who normally will be there are official interventions by the state security who has it as a right to report back to the Prime Minister. Now, the Prime Minister is not alone at fault with this. If, in fact, the Commissioner of Police is also facilitating that, he is to also be held responsible, because there ought to be no presence of state security in the meetings of the teachers' union or any other private agency that is concerned about their affairs.
This
is really frightening, and
it doesn't surprise me.
Calling, in my view, this is calling for further action on the part of the teacher to protest this kind of incident.
Yes. They should go out and protest. Can do so, don't like so.
No way.
Well, frankly, I took that for granted, that would happen.
You guys got one up on me. I didn't. I am dumbfounded. No way did I expect to hear this kind of thing. No way.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. In fact, when we were having our own press conference yesterday, I looked carefully to determine who was in the meeting, but equally to see who was 100 or so yards outside of our meeting, trying to determine who had attended the press briefing, because every action that's taken in this country is reported on, and that didn't surprise me in the least. But I take your point that it tells us the direction that we are going to a state-controlled society.
There's some people been telling me certain things in this country, and I've been laughing them off until I am not taking any of that stuff for granted anymore at all. At all. I don't know what to say.
But it really is intimidation. The idea is to suppress people so they can't express their views, to threaten them with reprisals and consequences, as the Prime Minister himself said before he went away.
Exactly.
That's why I mentioned it yesterday.
And the same thing.
I did not take it lightly at all. I assumed that is what would happen. But we in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have to learn that in instances like this, we have to stand up for the principles on which we believe.
Nice.